They're trying to let folks know that the Denver Nuggets are not inside their heads. 9 straight losses to the Nuggets have a lot of people wondering if the Lakers can beat the Nuggets. It won't happen if D'Angelo Russell and the rest of the team doesn't shoot better. The Lakers made only 8 of 29 three-pointers in Game 1. Russell was 6 for 20, including 1 of 9 from three-point range. The Lakers need to find their shooting touch in a hurry. Game 2 is tonight in Denver, 7 p.m. tip-off on TNT. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First Black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. With hopes that Black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. My name is Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Happy Earth Day. You know we are on this climate justice mission around here, so we're definitely celebrating Earth Day. Tap in if you had a chance to join Tavis and Compton Mayor Emma Sharif for the big cleanup in the spirit of Earth Day, even though technically it's today on a Monday. Look, this is how we do things around here. The first hour, we focus on the left coast, what's going on in the California side of town. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or a persons of interest. Today, technically, we're bringing back Messy Monday. Not messy as in our planet, messy as in our relationships. We usually do that the third Monday of every month. And then the fourth Monday, we do Black Marriage Monday, which has been on hiatus because the Ma'ats just blew up. Aize and Ayana just got their own show, and they're just blowing up, so they won't be able to join us once a month anymore. But we have other folks that will be stepping up to give us some great committed relationship and marriage advice. So that'll start back in May, only because, well, 429 is 429, and that's next Monday. So we'll be taking a look back and focusing on such as that on the anniversary of LA's civil unrest of 92. Anyway, Today is Earth Day, and now is the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, Hour 3. Gary Neal will be joining us, and we'll be talking Messy Mondays. Hour 2 will be joined not only with our Mindful Monday to get our week off in balance and peace. We'll also be joined by a young climate activist who can talk to us about the state of Earth Day, the state of some of these initiatives. Particularly, I want to look at what the bold move that the Biden administration made last week to preserve and conserve more public lands, what it really means, how it'll shake out, and how it'll impact you and me, and Black communities, BIPOC, low-income communities across the country, because we know, those of us who pay attention, that most of the pollution, toxins, dumping, and other very harmful environmental impacts are concentrated in low-income and Black communities, communities of color. And even those impacts that are not so easily pinpointed, i.e., the breakdown of the ozone layer, the rising levels of greenhouse gases and what that does to the changing temperatures of the planet, even that is disproportionately impacting Black people, whether it be in sub-Saharan Africa or whether it be in lower income pieces of these United States. So I want to look at what are the positive impacts, if any, that we could be looking at coming out of this bold new policy of the Biden administration under Interior Secretary Deb Haaland that changes the priority for land leases from extracting as much energy as possible to conservation and preservation of that land. And if that, that is meant to be a sea change in terms of how the United States and the Department of Interior, which is actually landlord for 10% of the real estate in the entire country, 10% of that open space, that is potentially really good news. But I want to get down, because as they say, the devil and hopefully the angel is in the details. Perfect time to call me. Right now it's me, you, and the microphone. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Are you celebrating Earth Day? How are you doing it? There are celebrations. I didn't realize Earth Day didn't come about until the 70s, and it was really put in place to highlight the environmental movement and the various campaigns that were meant to bring progress in these different areas. I did not realize that Earth Day was created around the same time as the Environmental Protection Agency, which, again, is another point of this election. If you look at project2025.org, which is where Republicans, ultra-conservative Republicans, tell you what their plans are should Donald Trump win, you'll see that one of the things they are looking to do is dismantle the Environmental Protection Agency. And, of course, that's great news for polluters, some developer pals of the former president's polluters, because they will not have to answer to any regulatory body on a federal level. Or if they do, it will be mostly hollowed out under a second Trump administration. So, something to note. Earth Day came about around the same time as the EPA, and as we celebrate Earth Day on this year of 2024, it's worth pondering the fact that should y'all decide to elect, and I say y'all because I'm not voting for them, should y'all decide to re-elect he who shall not be named, one of the first impacts will be the loss of any kind of oversight and regulatory authority in terms of protecting our planet, which just doesn't make any sense at all, unless your motive is purely profit and you don't care about whether or not your children and grandchildren have a planet that can sustain human life. think about the level of just selfishness and or ascientifical, if that's a word, thinking that it takes to decide that's a good idea. Let's go to Ron calling us from Richmond. Happy Earth Day, Ron.
Happy Earth Day and all that good, wonderful stuff. I see you rocking the purple. I'm thinking about my boy Prince, man. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Man, hard to believe it's been 8 years since we lost him, man. I remember people calling in and crying on radio stations, man, when he died. Him, Michael Jackson, and Whitney Houston. Those three right there in particular.
Yeah, I think
Man,
I might have been taking those calls and crying. I love me some
yeah.
Prince. Love me some Prince. Yes, my fellow Gemini.
Man, there will never, ever be another artist like that dude right there. I remember I got it on videotape. He had came back to the Arsenio Hall show and was sitting out there in the audience and talking. I'm like, wow, is this Prince sitting out there with the folks talking? Because he seemed so shy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just a shock to see him, like, out there interacting with the people like that, man. Just missed that brother, man. He just seemed like an overall good dude, period. So, all right.
Well, I'm sure Tavis will have something for you because they were friends. I never met him.
Heard,
never interviewed him, never met him. I think Tavis interviewed him, I don't know, many, many times and traveled with him and got his Super Bowl guitar and all kinds of things. And, of course, he made his transition April 21st, which would be, as you say, 8 years ago yesterday. Yeah,
and I remember we lost Tupac Shakur's mother that same year, too. And I was in the hospital when that happened.
Afeni.
That really, Afeni, yeah, 2016 was a crazy year. So, yeah, R.I.P. to DJ Purple Pam. I don't know if you knew, she was on tour with him for a few years before he had died.
Yes.
A few months or something like that. So R.I.P. to her. My big brother James, he was a Prince fanatic. He used to buy his records back in the day. We catch the bus and go to the record store and buy vinyl. A lot of y'all kids out there not knowing about that now. Y'all download y'all stuff to the phone. I ain't mad at you, but that's how we did it back in the day growing up. So. Yeah, I'll be digging out some of my Prince. I don't have his whole collection, but I got some of his stuff. So I'm gonna dig it out and just pay homage, in my own little way, to the late great Prince.
Absolutely. Honestly, I don't have the best Prince collection, but I just love his music and I loved his persona too, because long before we were talking about people being non-binary or gender fluid, Prince had, in my eyes, opened up the space for people to be whoever they are and just be accepted for however they presented themselves. From a style point, from a sexual orientation point, it was like it fostered acceptance, I think, in a way, particularly with, black people who are like, okay, well, that's just Prince doing Prince. That I think was really important in terms of, opening up this country, opening up space for everybody to belong.
Yeah, real talk. I feel you. But once again, Dominique, you are doing a wonderful job here at the station. Keep up the good work. Big shout out to Miles. I know he's gonna be locked in the game too tonight. I might have to order TNT so I can watch it myself because I'm doing the local thing right now. So I might have to get TNT back so I can watch that joint because NBA playoffs about to be crazy.
Yep.
It's all.
Yeah, Miles is shaking his head. Yes.
Hang in there, Miles, man. It's only game 2 coming up, bro. They'll be all right.
And they got us on the ropes, man, already. I'm praying for us.
I know you are, bro. Shout out to all the diehard Lakers fans out there. Oh, hey, Miles, real quick, man. Hey, do you think Clay gonna stay with the Warriors, man?
Ooh, he's gonna take a pay cut. I don't know if he's ready for that, but he gotta take a pay cut to stay there.
Yeah, I'm just hoping he stay, man, because he got way too much history here in the Bay, man. I hate to see him leave, man, because that big 3. So.
Speaking of the Bay, though, too, Ron, did you get a chance to see the Devin Haney-Ryan Garcia fight?
No, I've been hearing about it. Yeah, everybody been saying it. That was a good fight, though.
Did you see any of the lead up to it, all the craziness Garcia was talking on Instagram?
Oh, no. Is it footage on there now?
And just take about 15 minutes if you can, man, to do a deep dive, see how crazy he was talking on Instagram. And then, he didn't make weight, so it was a controversy on that, but he ended up knocking Devin Haney down, the champ down 3 times, won the fight crazy. So I think you should check it out. If you're a boxing fan, man, that's a good little story to watch.
Yeah, I have to look. I love boxing
for
some reason, but I haven't been keeping up like most sports. But I guess if you're going to talk all that smack, you better be able to back it up.
He wasn't supposed to back it up, though. This was supposed to be they were calling him crazy, saying he needs to be evaluated, and it was real loopy how he was acting on Instagram. So I thought he was going to lose, too, but came out and put the champ on his pockets, man.
Yeah. Well,
Wow,
I mean,
that's
I'm looking here. His record is 25-1, 20 knockouts, but just overmatched.
It wasn't supposed to be a fair fight. It really wasn't.
Oh, well.
They got history, so, I mean, it makes sense.
The other thing is, I know from interviewing enough boxers, when they're in that pre-fight mode, it's almost like they're out of their minds.
Right.
They get this. Mike Tyson talks about it. There's a clip circulating on Twitter where he's talking about how he didn't like the person he had to become to win all those fights. And I remember one time I interviewed Roy Jones Jr. when he wasn't in a fight, and he was flirtatious and, fun and everything. And then we interviewed him at Vegas right before a fight, and it was like a totally different person. There was nothing behind his eyes. It was like he was just like in fight mode. Oh, it's like, okay, I'll talk to you after you win. Nice meeting you again. That makes me want to see the fight, Miles.
It's worth it. It's worth a good watch.
Knocked him down 3 times.
Champ.
Dang.
But because he didn't make weight, he missed weight. It wasn't officially a championship fight after he missed weight.
I did not know that. Okay, well, Dr. Wallace is supposed to be here talking about skin, but I'm going to have to ask him because I did not know that. If you don't make weight, you can still fight, but it's just not an official championship?
A sanctioned championship
I thought
fight.
if you didn't make weight, you couldn't fight. Well, learn something new every day. Thank you, Miles, and thank you, Ron from Richmond.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Y'all have a blessed week. God.
I'm always rooting for everybody black, but I also love a good upset, good underdog story.
Yeah, it was solid. It was real solid.
Well, we got a lot going on around here. Ron from Richmond called 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And you can do the same if you want to talk to me. If not, well, let's find out what's going on around and about. It's a lot of Black-led organizations doing powerful work in the climate justice space, not just KBLA. Look at some of those and some other things going on and around about the place on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Reverend Gerald, host of Urban Family Focus here on KBLA Talk 1580s on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. In an effort to help reduce the impact of hypertension in our community, Providence is offering free hypertension assessments. The first 30 people to visit KBLA1580.com and use the link or QR code to register will receive 2 tickets to the Amazing Grace Conservatory presentation of Aladdin, a whole new world for real, at the Crenshaw Performing Arts Center, May 25th and 26th. Go to KBLA1580.com right now and be one of the first 30 to register for your hypertension screening and receive 2 tickets to Aladdin, compliments of Providence and KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Free! Who doesn't love free? With Milo's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowe's.com/Milo's Rewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
We've got a lot to talk about.
race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1893 $10 gold Liberty coins has been found. These gorgeous 1893p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed an 1893 gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1893 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 131 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-473-3993. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $50 value free with every order. Call 1-800-473-3993 now to secure your 1893p $10 gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-473-3993.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, so glad you're here with me. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. While a lot of the Earth Day celebrations, including ours, took place this weekend, many are extending throughout the week here in Los Angeles. For example, today, you can ride the Metro for free, no matter who you are, any age, any place. That is in the spirit of Earth Day. They also want to raise awareness about using public transportation because it's one way we can do our part to lessen our carbon footprint. So the free rides go from 3 a.m. this morning until 2:59 tomorrow. And the fare boxes will be turned off, so you just walk right through. The fare gates will be left open, so ride away, do your thing. Take a hike is a great thing to do. There, of course, over the weekend were the annual Heal the Bay beach cleanups, but you can always do a freestyle cleanup of your own anytime. And there's so much beauty here in Southern California, natural beauty, that I think it kind of turns on the save the planet energy. At least for me, it does. And so, it's easier for us, I think, to get involved because we've got ocean, mountains, desert, all right in one place. The mayor was weeding. Weeding in Griffith Park, not 420 weeding, like taking out weeds, like gardening type weeding in Griffith Park, and planting trees as part of her Earth Day efforts, along with Councilmember Nithya Raman and Jimmy Kim, who's a general manager of Rec and Parks. And organizations. One is called City Plants and one is called Climate Resolve. And I'm always confused because I always hear them talking about the greening of LA and how certain neighborhoods, blacker, less wealthy neighborhoods, have thinner and thinner canopy. In other words, the plant cover, the trees and such, get thinner and thinner as you get poorer and poorer and blacker. And yet in my neighborhood, which is a predominantly black neighborhood, they're always trimming our trees down to stubs. I don't understand that. Why, this beautiful canopy. And I know the branches fall off and all that, but you can't have it both ways. You want to cut the trees down to stubs, and then you want to talk about planting more and more trees, and how black neighborhoods tend to be hotter because when you have less tree cover, it's hotter. It's not rocket science. It's shade. Let's go to Jeanette calling us from Inglewood. Good morning, Jeanette.
Good morning, Dominique. Thank you for taking my call. So I don't have anything to say about Earth Day other than I'm glad that we do celebrate it. It does make us at least think about the Earth, the climate, and what we can do.
Yeah.
So, but what I was calling about, because I want to tell you something that I was thinking about, and that is what the Supreme Court did in Arizona regarding abortions. So the first thing that came to my mind was that it sounded like it was a dictatorship. And if that can be a dictatorship, I was thinking about what other Republican states can do. They can do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we kind of see it in Florida with Ron DeSantis, and with the governor from Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, how she signed that law, making it easier for to have children under the age of 16 work. So I was thinking, what if other Republican states, found a law from 1864 which says that no children can go to school after the age of 12. They must go to work. So with all of those thoughts coming to my mind, I started thinking of a question that I can ask to black people who are considering voting for number 45 and the Republican Party. So I was thinking, what if each state found a law from 1864 that says the only music that you can listen to is from 1864? So those of us who love Prince, it's gone. So those are my thoughts. But here's another one. What if another state says every home must have the God Bless the USA Bible because it has the God Bless America song, Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, Pledge of Allegiance in it. And, after all, that's what the good old US of A is all about. That's what we believe in. So those are just some of the things that I was thinking about. And I hope that, the black people will listen, think about it before they make that vote.
Right. I mean, and you're saying things that sound silly. No one can listen to music after 1864. But I think what your imagination was doing is thinking up all of the laws that could be on the books. You don't have to go back to 1864 to find laws on the books in the state of California that black people cannot own homes in certain areas. Those, housing covenants, for example. I know from talking to my neighbor, Mrs. Singleton, may she rest in peace, that those were in place in the 40s and 50s when she was trying to buy her house. And I believe, up through the 1980s. So you don't even have to go back 1880s. Just go to 1980s in California, and it would be illegal for me to own my home, and many of us to own the homes that we have. I mean, that might sound extreme, but we thought overturning Roe v. Wade sounded extreme, and now it's done. Now it probably take another 50 years to turn back, but Republicans want to hit us and then hide their hands, acting like they don't like what Arizona did after they are the ones who made it happen. Jeanette, we got news, traffic, and sports. You know that right now, and then we'll continue the conversation exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The University of Michigan's Poverty Solutions is releasing a report that shows home values in Detroit have risen by $3.9 billion since the city declared municipal bankruptcy. The report also shows that black homeowners saw their housing wealth increase by $2.8 billion. University professor Jeffrey D. Mornoff says from their findings, wealth has increased a lot and fairly equitably. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan says Detroiters who stayed in the city are seeing benefits in the form of housing wealth. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's proposed plan to borrow over $1 million to pay for housing and other development has hit a roadblock. The black mayor's allies delayed a full city council vote on the measure. Mayor Johnson's goal is to borrow $250 million a year through 2028 to fund efforts to expand affordable housing and boost small businesses and nonprofits. A vote now could be held as soon as Friday. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Every day a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers got the job done without Kawhi Leonard. A sore right knee kept Leonard out of the Clippers' win over Dallas in Game 1 of their first-round playoff series. 5 players scored in double figures. James Harden had 28 points and 8 assists. Despite Leonard's absence, Clippers coach Ty Lue used only 8 players the entire game. Game 2 is Tuesday night at 7 on TNT. The Lakers are trying to let folks know that the Denver Nuggets are not inside their heads. 9 straight losses to the Nuggets have a lot of people wondering if the Lakers can beat the Nuggets. It won't happen if D'Angelo Russell and the rest of the team doesn't shoot better. The Lakers made only 8 of 29 three-pointers in Game 1. Russell was 6 for 20, including 1 of 9 from three-point range. The Lakers need to find their shooting touch in a hurry. Game 2 is tonight in Denver, 7 p.m. tip-off on TNT. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you want to listen with some other folks, you might want to check out the YouTube stream, the Conversation Robust. As always, you can go to KBLA 1580 at youtube.com. And I just want to highlight, some Black organizations that are working on the environment besides KBLA Talk 1580. We're on a climate justice mission this Earth Day. I did not even realize that the NAACP had a thing called the Center for Environmental and Climate Justice. It's logical that they would, considering that we are disproportionately impacted, that we are not just locally but nationally and internationally impacted by environmental racism. There's also a group called Justice Outside, which is a Black environmental activist group. You can find them on Instagram, and they have call for proposals out right now. The April 30th deadline. You might want to hop on there. Outdoor Afro HQ, yes, another group doing this work, and they're actually hiring right now for a social media manager. If you're looking for something to do that has to do with, paying your bills, but also making a difference on the planet. And there is the National Black Environmental Network. So a lot of these organizations, Generation Green, the Hip Hop Caucus, prove what we found in our KBLA survey, that Black people are very concerned about what's going on with the environment. We might not be talking about it 24/7, but that data also tracks with a study that was done by Yale University, where they found that Black people and Latinos are more concerned about the climate emergency and environmental issues than the general population. Their survey found that 69% of Latinos and 57% of Black Americans were more worried about the climate emergency compared to only 49% of white folks. And that's a pretty substantive difference. It's not reflected in the way that this is reported or the way it's talked about, but it is logical because I believe we understand and know that this is hitting us harder than some other people, than most other people, locally and globally as well. I mean, when I say locally and globally, think about South LA. If you're from California, you probably know South LA is home to tons of active oil wells. And some of them are right in the middle of parks where kids play, where we work out, right next to schools. It's something you probably would not see as blatantly in wealthier, whiter communities, although I understand there are some on the west side. Nothing like here in South LA, where there's actually tons of active oil wells, and some that are no longer active, that are just toxic polluters, where for some reason in the state of California, if you just abandon an oil well, you don't have to clean it up. You don't have to pay to get it back to its original state. We leave that to us, the taxpayers, which somebody write a law, please, because that's ridiculous. Why is California the only state that doesn't charge oil producers, fossil fuel miners, for accessing the ground, right? We don't do that. Every other state does it. And why is it that we allow people to just abandon oil wells, leaving a tax bill to the tune of sometimes tens of millions of dollars for us to clean up those sites? It doesn't make sense. If I go to a park, me as an individual, and make a big old toxic mess, I'm going to have to clean that up. And if I'm reported, I'm going to get in trouble, right? But a corporation can do that to the tune of tens of millions and even endanger the well-being of entire communities, and everybody looks the other way? No, you break it, you buy it. What the heck? That is something that I hope we shall change. Sounds like a bill Assembly Member Isaac Bryan would write. I'm just saying. Imagine how ironic it must be for the people of Aliso Viejo. They're celebrating Earth Day while trying to stop this company that is in charge of the parks and outdoor space around there from spraying them with toxic chemicals. Apparently, there's an organization, CTM, no, I have the name wrong. There's an organization that's over all of the landscaping around there. It's Mission Landscape. It's under the contract with the Aliso Viejo Community Association, which is almost like a condo association that's over all of the beautification of those. And it turns out they're spraying something that is basically like Roundup 2.0. And those of you who remember the spray Roundup, which was, I guess it's still around in some places, but it was causing cancer, and there was a huge lawsuit where a black man won for the cancer and health suffering, which eventually led to his death, that was caused by that Roundup weed remover. Well, Roundup weed remover 2 is apparently called Cheetah Pro. Glufosinate is what is in it, and it's an herbicide. Apparently, a bunch of people around there are getting sick. They started getting tested and found elevated levels of this toxin inside their bloodstream, and now they're trying to go after the homeowner association and the landscaping company, and they've created an organization called Toxic Free OC, and they're trying to stop the use of these herbicides, which are now, they've caught on video spraying them into, streams and wetlands, which are not even where they're supposed to be sprayed. And these things don't just break down. They stick around. They can go into the water supply, and the particles can drift all through the air. So here we are celebrating Earth Day, and these folks are suffering from all kinds of debilitating symptoms related to this herbicide. But here's the thing. I mean, why are we hearing about this? We're hearing about it because it's Orange County, because the people organize. But it's not, think about all the gardeners who have been using the Roundups and the Cheetah Pros for decades, many without any protection. And then they will likely have the same terrible health outcomes, but little conversation or outcry. And meanwhile, this is seeping into the water. When it goes into the ground, it can go all the way deep to those layers where we get our drinking water from. I can't think what they call it right now. The groundwater. And it's really worrisome to me. They're doing this so they can have the perfect, pristine lawn, but at the price of poisoning the community. So I feel for those folks, and it must feel like the ultimate irony to be dealing with this over the Earth Day weekend, over the season. And of course, as the climate emergency continues to impact our temperatures, it's getting hotter and hotter in Los Angeles, more and more hot days. There is a motion in effect right now where city departments are meant to report back with their recommendations on how to expand cooling centers during the summer ahead of us. And LA Times had a great article, LA Daily News has a good article here, where they talk about how many people die from heat-related impacts, which we'll never know. We just think they die of old age or maybe diabetes or whatever comorbidity that they have. But many times it's really because of the extreme heat. And as we see more and more tracking of this, we're going to see initiatives to get air conditioning into people's homes. And right now they're trying to expand the cooling facilities, which is places you can go on super hot days. They want to expand the use of libraries, rec centers, senior centers. The city council unanimously passed a motion earlier this month to have all of the city departments report back with the best practices for using buildings as cooling centers, what the costs are, what they need help with, and they're also looking at applying for grants to create more cooling centers because it is actually at this point in the arc of the climate emergency, it's actually a matter of life and death. 800-920-1580 if you want to join the conversation here or just hop in the YouTube. Hit me up on socials. We're at KBLA 1580 on every platform. And you can find me at DiPrima Radio. That's DIPRIMA. You know how to spell radio, don't you? You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Imagine with me here for a minute the most beautiful panoramic setting. Maybe it's an endless ocean, waves crashing on a beach, or a crystal clear mountain lake, peaceful and quiet. Or maybe it's just little kids playing in the park down the street. Wherever your imagination takes you, now imagine right smack in the middle of this perfect picture, a piece of litter. Just one piece right there in the middle of it all. Doesn't exactly fit, does it? In fact, even though it's just one piece, now it's all you can see. That one piece ruins everything. And that's the thing about litter. It doesn't take much to ruin everything. One thing's for sure, it simply does not belong anywhere in California. So here's the good news. If we work together, we will change it. We don't have to let litter, even just one piece, ruin your perfect picture. Not anymore, not ever again. Clean California, zero litter is the goal. Brought to you by Caltrans and CleanCA.com.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans, and we'll help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So, if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
It's time for California Community College's Black Student Success Week. This week-long event, held April 22nd through the 26th, is an opportunity to focus on innovative approaches to ensuring Black and African American students succeed in their educational pursuits. Black Student Success Week 2024, building a better future together. The urgency is now. For more information, visit blackstudentsuccess.com. That's blkstudentsuccess.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Makes me nervous. Another guy trying to break into the mayor's house. Mayor Karen Bass here in Los Angeles. A man smashed a window and broke into her house. They haven't identified the suspect. This was Sunday, early in the morning. And she was home at that time. They said nothing was taken and there were no injuries. But this is the second time that someone has broken into the mayor's house. Now, this time it was at the Getty House, which is the mayoral mansion where every mayor lives while they're in office. The last time it was during the campaign, it was at her home in Baldwin Vista. But I find that worrisome. I don't seem to remember these stories about people breaking into any other mayor's home. Or mayoral candidates' home for that matter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember these stories. The The LAPD apparently arrested the suspect. They just haven't released the name. Not sure what that's about. And I hate that we get a black woman mayor and all of a sudden it's just, let's break into her home. How is that even possible? I know the mayor has a security detail, as does the city attorney and the police chief. No other electeds have details. Reminds me, remember when Obama was president, suddenly there was all these White House break-ins and security breaches, and it's like, okay, I guess y'all better double up or something. 'Cause that's a problem. That's not okay. We shall see. Paul Lee in the chat talking about Caitlin Clark's deal with Nike. I guess reportedly tens of millions she'll be making for her shoe deal. And hopefully she's, the first of many. I mean, I know there are others in the league that have shoe deals, but on the level. Paul says 28 million. I don't see it here. I just see tens of millions that she'll do pretty well. The other thing that the head of the WNBA was talking about on social media was that when you hear that 350,000 or whatever, something around 350, that over the life of her deal and that she's making about $70,000 a year, she's saying that's base pay and there's other bonuses and bumps in there for Clark based on her own scoring and what she does in the league. So that's not really what she'll make, just like it's not what any of them will make. That said, I heard Dave Zirin on CNN. Love him. He's a sports writer. Wrote a great book about Muhammad Ali. He's written amazing articles for The Nation. He was saying that it's not about the dollar amount, it's about the percentage of profits. Are they in the ballpark? Not that they should be making exactly what someone in the NBA makes, but as a percentage of profits, are we even close? And his position was no, the women are not close yet in terms of percentage of profits, not in terms of, real numbers that the WNBA, which does garner less profit than the NBA, should be handing out the same salaries, but that they should be proportionally equal, which does make, or equitable, which does make sense. It's not too late to call me, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
And you're always welcome into this conversation. It's a two-way street around here, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Daryl Brown says, COVID showed us how the air cleans up when you avoid a morning commute. And tailpipe exhaust, whether from remote work or not, idling in line for a $7 cup of coffee goes down. Yeah, we saw the impact of the pollution we can see. And I think that's right in terms of driving less and the greenhouse gases. I still think it's important that we understand we as individuals have to do everything we can, go clean a beach, ride the trains. The metro's free today all over LA. The gates are open. You don't even have to go through the thing. You don't need a pass. They want you to try out Metro on Earth Day. But we also have to hold big corporations accountable. They are the huge polluters. If they would stop doing some of the practices that they do, it would make an impact a lot faster. And I think that has got to be key, because if it's just me and you using paper straws and riding the metro, yeah, that's going to help, but it's not going to do the kind of help. It's not going to have the kind of impact that we need to arrest this emergency. As a, neuroscientist pointed out on this show last week, Mr. Aldern, Clayton Aldern pointed out, we've already got the ball rolling for this climate emergency to keep going for decades, even if we shut down all negative practices tomorrow. So the level that we're at right now, it's going to take some serious change, and that's got to come with corporate accountability. Let's see. Terry says, can't the mayor's spokesperson release the name of the burglar who broke into the house? Yes, they could, but I don't see the mayor's comms team defying the LAPD if the LAPD feels like they need to keep it secret, and I'm assuming it's because the investigation is underway. Then the mayor's spokespeople are not going to defy that. But it certainly is troubling, and I hope, this is going to be the last time we hear such as this coming out regarding attacks on Mayor Karen Bass. Mindful Mondays next, and more of your phone calls. Sahara Ali will join us after news, traffic, and sports, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The University of Michigan's poverty solutions in Detroit have risen by $3.9 billion since the city declared municipal bankruptcy. The report